So you click this video because you want to know how I was able to scale my video editing service from $0 to $1,000 as a total beginner. And no, this is not a ChatGPT strategy that I stole. It was actually a process I implemented myself. And honestly, I didn't know how I did it at first until I sat down and I was able to break it into a 5-step process, which I'll be talking about today. So make sure to stick to the end of the video, because if you implement one and then implement the other, you're just going to break the whole total strategy. So the first is your mindset. And I know you have heard this a lot, that you have to work on your mindset, you have to journal and do all of that, but it is as important as it can ever be. You have to work on your mindset first before you're able to make that $1,000. For you, it might be 1,500, 5,000, $10,000, but you have to have it in your mind that you can actually make that amount of money before you eventually make it. And I'll give you a quick example. Have you ever noticed that the $50 or $100 you have in your account every single month, one way or the other, it might be a family who sent it to you, or a sibling, or a client, or a customer, or some random person, but that particular money finds a way to your account over and over again, because you have had it in your mindset that it's a normal thing. So you have to have it in your mindset that you can make that amount of money. And honestly, that is what has worked for me. And the second is write down the number you want to make. It might be $1,000 or $5,000. Write it down on a piece of paper. For me, I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I gummed it to my wall. I did that multiple times. The paper most times just get old, crumbled, and I'll have to change the paper again. Then I put it in a position in my room that the moment I wake up, I have to see that number, because I want my subconscious mind to know that yes, we have to make this particular amount of money, and it automatically just come to reality. It might be a client who will just direct you to someone who is going to make you that money. There's a verse in the Bible that says, write out your dreams and make it plain. I'll see if I can tag it here on the screen. So you have to write it down. And honestly, that is what worked for me. I wrote the number down, and eventually within time, I was redirected to someone who just made me that money without no stress. Now we have gotten all about the mental, spiritual part aspect of it. It is time to get into the physical parts, which I believe all of you have been waiting for. So the third is by far one of the most important, which is building your personal brand. Is personal brand saturated in 2025? Yes. Has it been more important to create a personal brand? Yes. One of the advantages of building your personal brand is you have the opportunity to A/B test on your own brand, on your own page. Instead of you going on to getting a job, and let's say you get an opportunity and you start wanting to learn everything that you're supposed to learn with your personal brand on the job, you might end up losing that client because you might not just be good enough at that point. But with your own personal brand, you can start testing what hooks work best, what storyline works best, what edit works best, and you will just learn all the details on your own personal brand. So when you eventually get an offer on a job, you are 50% ahead of every other editors who doesn't have a personal brand. And note, to make money as a video editor or service provider, building your personal brand, you don't have to have a huge amount of following. I mean, on Instagram, I have as little as 1,000 plus followers, not even up to 2,000. But I still get DMs like this every single day or every single week. In fact, I don't go a month without getting a message from someone who wants to work with me, an inbound lead. So building your personal brand is something that will help you in the long run, because trust me, you don't want to always go out there and search for your clients. You want a source that will bring clients to you. That is why personal brand is one of the most important things you can do in 2025. Now, the fourth is also important as well, and is a practical step that you can do as a beginner, which is outreaching. For me, I don't outreach anymore because I get a lot of inbound leads that I don't need to outreach. In fact, I select the type of client that I want to work with. And most times, if I don't really want to work with the clients, I can even share it with other editors in my circle. But when you're starting out, you don't have that luxury of depending on your personal brand, because you're just starting out. Obviously, nobody knows you. So you have to outreach to prospect clients, get yourself out there, apply for jobs. I mean, the first client I signed in late 2024 was through outreaching. The first payment she made to me was $150, but over time I've made over $1,000 just from her. And I kid you not, the first client that ever paid me $1,000 on the spot was referred to me by her. I didn't go on outreaching. It was a mouth to word referral that got me the client that paid $1,000. Now imagine if I didn't outreach to her, I wouldn't have got that client. And the fifth is the most important of it all. I cannot stress how important this fifth number is enough. It is time. You have to give it time. You can do all the steps correctly. You can outreach, have a great mindset, journal, and do all of these full step correct. But if you do not give it time to work, it won't. And let me give you a quick story about myself. After months of building my personal brand, outreaching, applying to jobs, and getting multiple rejections, I think at that point I got over 10 to 15 rejections of jobs that I wasn't taken for. And I think after getting over 10 to 15 rejections, there was the last rejection, which I think was the system rejection, that it got to me. I mean, I literally cried, went on my bed, sleep, and immediately I woke up, I started working on my next strategy or the next place I'm going to apply. And I kid you not, just a week after the rejections, I got my first client. I literally signed my first client. Now imagine if I had give up because I'm like, okay, I've got my system rejection. Maybe it's not my lucky number. Maybe this is not what I'm supposed to do. Then I could have missed the opportunity of building a momentum or signing my first client or making my first money as an editor. So have it at the back of your mind that I'm going to do this in the long run, 3, 6, 90 days, or even a year. Because if you implemented the strategy correctly, I kid you not, you might sign your client in the first 30, 60, or even 90 days. So these are all my personal 5-step process that I implemented that helped me to get to my first $1,000.